What's going on, guys? This is another episode of Noiz.I Talks with friends. This is episode 24. A bit of a hectic day coming in here just because of time and all that stuff. So I'm very happy that my friend, which we will disclose in a second, allowed me to come over here in her space. If you guys are new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. We're on our way to 1K. A little background between me and the interviewee today. We went to high school together. We always had a lot of disagreements, a lot of arguments, and all that stuff over certain topics that we're, again, not going to disclose. Not saying that they're personal or whatever, but just because, different time, different space. But we slowly were learning each other for a little bit, and then COVID happened, and we kind of all lived our separate lives. So she is someone I admire just with like her work ethic, what she does, and who she is as a person. And today we have Les Stars in the building. How are you feeling today?
Good. I'm a little sleepy, but I'm good.
You're good? Yeah, she literally just got off work, so yeah. I appreciate her for even, wanting to do this today. But if you do not usually tune into the episodes, what we do is we do 6 questions. The questions, the interviewee has no idea what they are, so we are just gonna hop right into it. I told Star to be prepared for the questions because we are very open people, especially like to each other. Yeah. So I had to bring the heat, as they say. Are you ready for question number 1?
I told you, I literally was like, there's no limits either. So yeah, I guess I am ready for question number 1.
Here we go. Question number 1. You had an ex-boyfriend who tragically passed away years ago. And I'm saying years ago because it wasn't recent. It was a fairly long time ago. Yeah. How did you move on from it, and how are you able to heal from such a traumatic experience?
It's hard to say that I've healed from it, for real.
Speak up just a little bit for me.
It was hard, it was hard to say that I healed from it. 'Cause, I'm a lot better than what I was because that first year, I really wouldn't leave the house. It was hard for me to eat. It was hard for me to really do anything, especially being together for as long as we were, because I've known him since I was 13. My parents were the only people that really understood. A lot of my friends in Springfield I stopped being friends with because they either just weren't very empathetic at all, or they just were kind of get over it. And I'm already kind of considered the outcast of my family because I do have a big family, but I ended up losing I don't know. I don't think that to answer your question, I don't really think that I've moved on still to this very day, even though it's been it's 4 going on 5 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
There's still kind of just a hole in my heart. And though I do have a boyfriend now, we're together, we live together, things like that. There's still really hard days. July 2nd's coming up, and that's his death anniversary. There's just still days. If you were to ask my boyfriend, he just knows there are still days that it's hard for me to get out of bed. It's hard for me to do things.
And do you feel like a lot of the reason why you feel that way is because maybe you think that his death is your fault, or you could have prevented his death?
Definitely in the beginning when he passed away, I thought it was I thought that there was something I could have did, because at the time that he passed away, we weren't together. He was with his he was dating his other ex, and I had broken up with him maybe a month prior to. I felt had he been with me, he wouldn't be gone. There are a lot of things that he wouldn't do when he was with me, opposed to what he would do with his ex and things like that.
Because you're more so a safe space, would you say that?
Yeah.
For him, yeah.
And also just kind of who my dad was and things like that. And I think there were a lot of things. If Scott was with me, I really do feel he would still be here.
Okay. Yeah, because we don't have to go super deep. I think there's a lot of times we've talked about it, and I can still see that it's what's the word, relevant in your life, but I know that it'll always be relevant. Do you feel you'll always be comparing the two between your current and your ex?
There are certain things, yeah.
Like what?
I just feel like no matter what, like Scott just, I don't care what I did, he just still like loved me. I don't know. And like, I don't know. I just, there's nothing like your first love. Like, I just can't like explain it, but I feel like I will still always be longing for that type of love, because like, even if Scott went and did something, like I could feel it in my heart and my bones and my soul. Like, I just know. And I don't think that there would be any type of love to like compare to that.
So, if I'm respectfully allowed to ask,
Yeah.
if Scott was still alive, would you be with your current boyfriend?
No. And my boyfriend knows that too, because he.
Oh wow. Dang. Okay.
I talk about Scott pretty often, and also like even with Scott's family on holidays, I still go see them.
So how does that make your current boyfriend feel? Like you're still so involved, but he's still trying to help you heal, but he has to be a boyfriend, but you're still in love with, like, how do you think that makes him feel?
I probably I bet it does hurt his feelings, because like
I bet what? I bet it. I'm sure it does. I don't really know.
It's like, I don't know.
Jeez.
I know. But I mean, like, I know it hurts, because like I feel like there's a part of me that will never fully be like with my boyfriend.
Okay.
But listen, before I met my boyfriend, I was single for 4 years. So
I understand that, but did you hear what you just said?
I mean, yeah, I heard what I just said.
We're not gonna get too deep into that. No, I mean, if you have something more to say, please say it.
I'm just saying, like, have you ever like been in love? Like,
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel like me and Scott were not done yet, and like
Okay, I understand that. Yeah.
And I feel like, had Scott like lived longer, we probably would have had a kid, and we probably would have, like, there would have been something to keep us in each other's lives for like a long time, forever. Because like, I don't know, it was just that type of relationship. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, even his mom, like, she was like, you guys were gonna get married. Like, Scott really loved you. Even his family, like, that, I don't want to cry, because like his family, like, he really loved you, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't, like, even when I was mad at him, if he needed anything, like, I would absolutely be there for him and my family. Like, Meech and Carlos, they loved him. Me and Scott would be broken up, and I'll be cussing Meech and Carlos out. They'd be like, but we still love Scott sometimes. Like,
right, yeah.
So regardless, I feel like we would have been in each other's lives, whether I wanted to or not. But I mean, like, I would still always be in love with him.
Well, I will have to say, as a friend, just because I think your current is very cool and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's something that you're really gonna have to both go to counseling for.
Yeah.
Because, like, and I'm only speaking from how I would view it if I was in his position.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I could never compare to who your first love was, but if I'm currently in your life, sadly, because of, how would that make me feel? I would feel some type of way. And like, you said that maybe he does, but I wouldn't feel like as secure with you, because it's like, well, if there was someone who could even replicate who your past was, you would leave.
I mean, I can say, like, I stopped trying to look for, like, I stopped trying to like look for Scott, like, personally in other people, like when I was dating. And that's part of why I was single for so long, because it was hard to fathom, like, even like going like a week without talking to Scott. Like, that first week I broke down so bad, because like, even if we broke up, like, it would still be like, he would text me a period or something and be like, I didn't mean to text you. Like, now you meant to text me for real. So like, things like that. But I think I've come to the realization that I'm never going to have that same love again. Every love is different. But also I think that, I don't know, I'm a very loyal person to like my boyfriend, and it definitely is a different relationship from where I started with my first love. Like, I can say that, I could honestly sit here and say my relationship with Scott was very toxic, and you were there for a lot of that.
I was there. I was always telling her, like, just leave, bro. She's like, no. But I mean, I get it.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, towards the end, it's crazy, because to think, like, before he passed away, like, he did turn into a different person. Like, you know how exes come to you and they're like, I changed. Like, he really changed. Like, he was like, he got an apartment, and he was like, I got us this apartment, like, it's for us. And he got a new car, and he started going to school, and he just, I don't know. And even him telling me, like, I made him a better man. Like, I don't know, and I felt like he made all of his amends before he left, and even like knowing Scott, he for some reason always knew he was going to pass away young. So
sheesh, and that's so dangerous with black men nowadays, man. Because whole different subject, but
yeah.
Do you feel like you got everything off your chest with that?
I did.
Okay. Going into. Oh my gosh! Going into question number 2.
Gosh.
No, like I just forget because I wrote these so long ago. Like I just forgot like how I set them up. Going into question number 2. Do you feel that black women are looked down upon, and why do you think that our race are the main ones who don't support each other?
Yes, I do think that black women are looked down upon, and I think the reason why it just goes back into history, really. You go back to like how slaves and slaves on the fields and things like that, but also pretty much.
You said that so nonchalantly. I'm sorry. Slaves on the fields. We was just out there. That was kind of messed up.
But what I mean is like after slaves were freed, because I put quotes because like I don't really think that's true. And everything being signed. I forget what it was, but pretty much there's a division there's colorism.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, there's a division, but I think that regardless, like I just think that it stems from history, and also we live in a society, not even a society, like the United States of America is literally ruled by white people. So I feel like even when, say like even me at my job, I can count on like one hand how many black girls we have and things like that, but also how society treats different black girls of different colors.
And I feel like it's always with black people, but specifically black women, you guys have to have such a long resume to even get jobs or to get placements of other people. Like I remember Viola Davis saying that she has the same catalog as the high end white actresses, but she still can't get the jobs that they got because of her skin or because whatever. So it's like I understand now, but it's always interesting to know like how much you guys specifically have to go through just to get status. But then that goes deeper, because then it's like that's what you guys look for in relationships too, because how independent culture is how relationships works now. Like if I have my own blah 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 blah, I don't need anyone, I don't blah 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 for someone to take care of me. But at the end of the day, it's like that's just how we look at each other. We have to have our own, we can't come together, blah 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 blah. So it's like, what do you think black people as a whole and black women need to do a better job of, besides just like support, or maybe support is the answer?
I feel like, you were right about like us being like wanting to be very independent, but also I think that also goes based upon, it's based upon how we're raised and things like that. Because you have a lot of black men who are very angry that just grown up
because a lack of a dad, lack of father figure. But go ahead.
And I feel like also when white people look at us, they automatically already have like, not even just white people, I feel like other races in general, like they look at black people and they already have their minds made up about us.
yeah. But like we do too. Like black race does too. So like if we see ghetto, like, oh, we're not associating with that. If we see high maintenance, oh, they're bougie, oh, they're go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to cut you off.
Okay. I feel like we all definitely have. I feel like all black people are passionate. And I think that we all are very strong, and we all can be very independent. And I feel like sometimes when we're talking to each other, sometimes we're not trying to listen. We're listening to react. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I always talk about that. Active listening is different from
So I think that like if we were in a different headspace, then and also I feel like go ahead. I feel like we're definitely in a society where it's like we're in survival mode. We're always in survival mode, no matter what. And also, like, it doesn't matter, like you said, like, it doesn't matter if I have all the credentials and I have the suit and I have the outfit, just based off the color of my skin. I'm probably, even if I get the job, I'm going to be paid less. Right. Even if it was like a white man or a white girl that like literally had like she didn't have any of the credentials or anything,
Right.
she would be getting paid more than
And then you be working there for 30 years and like, you know what, you get a 50-cent raise.
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah.
off rip, by the color of our skin, we're treated differently. So it's like no matter what we do, that's the hard part. And have you ever heard of Black Wall Street?
Yes, that how they blew that up. Yep.
Yeah, and how they so it's like even if like I mean like my boyfriend, he was reading goodness, the Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
And he was talking to me about how like if black people or we were to make our own country, and I'm like, we've already tried that with Black Wall Street, and we were doing great. We were doing great things. We were helping each other out, and then things got blown up, and it's just like I feel like we're never going to be left alone.
And like I totally agree with like, you know, how the world is, or specifically the United States, are toward black people. Mm-hmm. And I never want to always blame white people because like, you know, even though we went through slavery and all that stuff, and I'm not saying, you know, we're past that and like we're in a different time frame, but we are in a better position for us to help each other.
Yeah.
With media, with transportation, with everything. So it's like I will always talk about how it's important to change your headspace by putting your headspace in a different community. Because if all you see is the street you're on, the schools you go to, that's all you're going to be for your entire life.
True.
So something that I've been blessed with is traveling. Like I've seen different people, I've seen different cultures, and it's very important for me to take all that in to give it back to my community.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, there's a world outside of what you know.
Yeah.
Like that's something that has been, you know, really important in my life with my friends and family, is like there's a world outside what you know.
Yeah.
But I think as far as like what we can do a better job of, which is it's always a recurring question in these episodes, just because I like to see everyone's idea on it. But I think obviously building the community inside out.
Yeah.
It starts with food, because you know with food, that's how we react to everything. It's our behavior, it's our addiction, it's our laziness, it's everything. So it's like if we continue to eat these bad foods, whatever, it's going to create our future off rip.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, obviously education, and then traveling. We got to travel. We had to travel.
You know what's crazy is I didn't go to like Springfield High, or like I went to Perrin Woods and stuff like that, but I got to see how drastically different the education systems are. Like, I guess people would call me like whitewashed, I guess, because I went to Greenon or whatever. But when I say like those county schools like are completely different from public schools. Like we had like 2 different students come from Springfield High or Hayward, and when I say they didn't know how to read, or they didn't know how to do math properly, like things like that.
We're not saying like they're stupid, but like,
no, it's just
the curriculum that they have.
And my school was a predominantly white school, and my mom moved me out there because she was like, you're going to live in a harsh world where people are going to judge you off the color of your skin. And she was just kind of like, I want you to get started early so that you know how to talk to these people, that you know how to deal with these people, and know that you can at least be some step ahead when it comes to education. So it's crazy to me that to think like if I went to Springfield High, which is a predominantly black school, the education is drastically different. Like it's just drastically like crazy different, and it's like.
But do you think that that's also trying to appeal to white people?
What do you mean?
Like when your mom put, because my mom did the same thing. She put me in like that education, but it's like I don't really want to learn their language. I don't.
Yeah.
So do you think that it was more for an appeal rather than actually having the knowledge of? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think so. Like, I think in some cases, yes. Yeah. I don't know. I just think that's so crazy. And like, even when like I'm going to like, when I was going to like Springfield High games, like, or talking to like my black friends, like coming from that school to like, you know, and I would hang out with my sister's friends. I didn't really want to go to my Green End football games or prom, things like that. I wanted to be around my people. Right. They would kind of just be like, well, you talk weird, or like, you know, or they'd be like, you're using such big vocabulary. But it's like, it's crazy because I feel like they do it on purpose, like especially with the education system. Yeah. Because I feel like the stereotypical black person, I don't think that's true. Like me talking white, no, I speak properly, and I think that every black person can do that.
I still get stuff about that every day, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't care about it, but I don't want to go too deep because we can, you know, that's a whole different segment.
Yeah.
So question number 3. Mm-hmm. Okay. What is something you are the most proud of when it comes to yourself? And I feel like we don't talk about that a lot because since we are in survival mode, we don't give ourselves enough appreciation.
Yeah.
So when it comes to you, what are you most proud of?
I would say, I think I'm a lot stronger than I give myself credit.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's a lot of things, like, if I thought ahead, I would be like, oh, yeah, I would crumble in 2 seconds. But, like, a lot of situations that I've definitely been faced with, I've been able to kind of just persevere and keep moving. And if anything, it's made me want to work harder for things. And I'm kind of really proud of myself for that. I feel like even like after losing like my first love, like that first year, like I dropped out of college and things like that because I was just that depressed. But I feel like I was able to also get back up on my feet. And when I thought about something that I wanted to do, I was able to do it.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So like, do you still feel that way now? I mean, like, you know, that's kind of like going through it through the years. But like, where do you feel about yourself now? Like, are you still proud of yourself? Are you still what are you working on?
I am proud of myself. I plan on going back to school. Listen, that is the thing.
We're not going to do it today. We usually have an argument about school, but I'm going to let her do her. Go ahead.
But it's like, I don't know, like this whole time I thought I wanted to be in the medical field, but then it's like now I don't know. Like I just started reading about short-term life insurance policies and long-term life insurance policies and I was reading about how generational wealth is built off of those things, and I'm learning about a lot of stuff that are entrepreneurial, and I'm like, well, do I need to go back to school? So I can get where that argument is, because you are an entrepreneur yourself. Like, you're a hard worker and you do make shit happen for yourself.
Wow,
like,
thank you. That actually means a lot.
You're welcome. But, like, I think that, I don't know. It's just kind of hard to get out of that bubble when you're, like,
You've been in it for so long.
Yeah.
But
and I'm trying to get out of that comfort zone.
I think that comes with the people who you're around, which I don't know who's around you, like, you know, day to day.
Yeah.
You have to find people who get it, who understand that, you know, that there's more to life than surviving.
Yeah. I've definitely got that, especially like living in Springfield. Like, I would definitely have great ideas, and like, you kind of can tell because like when you're talking to those people in those friends groups, they automatically shut it down.
And we were almost there. We were like out of 10, we were probably at like a 4. Mm-hmm. Because it was me, Star. We have Kyle in the background, Khalil. And we also had Khalil. So like we had like a little groupie stuff. But like, I guess in my mind, I'm speaking from my perspective only. I guess I didn't see the vision just because of like consistency throughout the entire group. I mean, I knew that, no offense, Star and I were going to be consistent, but I didn't know about Kyler and Khalil. And, you know, we've already met Kyler before, so we're not going to go into deep with that. But, again, I'm just speaking from my perspective. Because, I mean, I don't believe in potential, so I could be like, well, we had the potential to be blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I don't believe in that. Like, if we were going to do it, we were going to do it.
It's crazy the amount of times we spent at Kyler's house, and we were all literally just brainstorming, and all of that could have been content. Like, it was great stuff.
We had some great ideas, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and then that friend group, I was so sad. I was so hurt when the friend group like kind of like dispersed, but like I'm really glad to see how everybody's going. Like, Khalil has like a girlfriend and everything now, and you're like, you're literally, I don't know, you're so consistent with your content. We'll get terrible.
There, because we're about to get off track. We'll get there, but yeah, so we're not going to try to get off track because again, we could go places. Okay, you're moving kind of fast, Star. This is kind of good. So we're on question number 4.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Okay. We're on question number 4.
Scary.
No, it's not. It's nothing crazy.
Okay.
Who in your life do you feel like you failed the most?
Damn, that's a good question.
And like, when I mean like failure, I mean like you fail them all the time.
If I was like to say a person, I would be like.
And to double question off of that, it would be, why do you feel like you failed them, or how?
I would say my grandma Jody. She passed away a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And why I feel that way is just because I feel like, I mean, I know I'm only 25 and I'm still young, but I feel like I thought that I would be a lot more successful sooner rather than later.
Because of education, or because of what?
Self-procrastination. I didn't know that all of these loops and like issues would come in my life to kind of keep me from, you know,
getting there.
Yeah. I mean, like, people say, oh, there's gonna be bumps in the road, but it's like, these bumps intense as fuck. What do you mean? Like,
these niggas is traumatized.
Like, for real.
Right,
like,
right.
So I think for that reason alone, and I think also partially myself, I feel like my mom's side of the family, they definitely had a judgment before I was even born. They were kind of like, oh, she's going to end up somebody's baby mom and this, and that. And I think since I've heard that, I have worked every day to do the opposite of what they have wanted. And the only thing that I feel like I have not accomplished is being a doctor. Because that's what I wanted. I wanted to be either a veterinarian or a doctor. And kind of like being able, I mean, I work with doctors on the daily, but seeing what they go through in their everyday lives, I'm like, that probably wouldn't have solved my problems. But like to my mom's side of the family, they would have been like, oh, she's a doctor. Like that would have been the only.
Right, yeah, they would have been proud just for the title. So like, do you feel like you hold a lot of weight from your family because in your eyes, you want to be at a certain point, but like because you're not there, you don't feel like you're as an example as you want it to be?
Yeah. It definitely, I feel like embarrassed, and then everybody else and everybody else kind of holds me on the pedestal. They're like, no, like you're doing fine, and I'm like, to me, I'm not, like. So I'm just like a little embarrassed, you know what I mean?
But again, there's nothing to be embarrassed about because again, like we're in survival mode for one, but we're only in survival mode because of what we intake as people.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where a lot of anxiety comes from, is because like we put ourselves in these positions in our mind like, by 24, I'm gonna be a millionaire and all that stuff, but it's because of what we see. Yeah. If we're scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or anywhere every day, and you see multimillionaires as young as they are, it's like, dang, I have failed in life. But at the end of the day, like you also have to understand what they went through to get to the position that we're at. A lot of people who want to get to a place where they're successful when it comes to money specifically, they're not consistent enough. They don't want to put in the work for themselves. But if you go to a job and they're like, I need you to be here for overtime on this day, you're going to show up because you know that money's going to be there. Yeah. But when it comes to entrepreneur success, like you have to do it yourself or you'll never see that. And like that's why I appreciate a lot of people who do media and again, any type of media, any type of art, because they're consistent with it. Because at the end of the day, it's just them and the computer, or them and the lights, or them and the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a lot that goes behind the scenes, for sure.
There's a lot that goes behind it. But yeah, don't ever feel like you failed yourself. You're just in a position where you're aware. Something that me and Kyle are always talking about is like, just being aware. Because if we're not aware, then we're always going to be lost. But at least we have the knowledge of like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at right now. Yeah. So just, be patient with yourself and understand that.
You know what's crazy is this past year, I've definitely lived, you know how my family's fucking huge. Yeah. Like this past year has taught me so much, because this is the first year I've ever lived without my family. Like we live in a big house with all 7, 8, 9 plus of us, and I've lived with my boyfriend solely. And I think that this past year has taught me a lot, because like when I was living at home, like I had this idea in my head. I'm like, by the time I'm 25, like I'm going to be engaged, I'm going to get married. I'm going to do it right. And now like me and my boyfriend are living together, and I'm like, babe, like I know we're going on a year and like 6 months together, but I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for like marriage, things like that. Like
let's slow down.
Yeah, like this is shit I thought I wanted, but like I could do this shit when I'm 32. I'ma still be here.
And then again, going with relationships, you also have to understand how far that goes into, because it's not just loving that person, it's choosing that person every day. Yeah. I feel like that's something our generation, we're not obviously doing a good job of. Yeah. It's choosing each other every day. It's like, this person's attractive, let's have sex, whatever. But then after that, nut clarity, as we all called it, is over with. It goes back to real life. Like, okay, I don't want to do life with you every day. So something to think about. Going into question number 5, who is someone in your life that you miss the most that you don't talk to anymore?
My best friend. We were like this.
You want
me?
Are you gonna?
Yeah, I'm gonna say her name.
Okay.
Deanna.
Okay.
She's my cousin, but like we don't talk anymore. But she was like, I would say, all in all, like she was my person. Like she understood me through and through, and I don't think that we'll ever get back to a place where we'll be as close as we were.
Because of if something happened, we don't have to talk about it. But if something happened,
it was just miscommunication, really.
Okay.
I felt like, it was kind of like a he say she say thing, and I think that like us letting so much time go by. I don't think that, I mean, people grow, people change, things like that, but like, I would have never did anything to hurt her. She was just my person. Like, I don't know, especially she was just there like at a time where I needed her most, and then she also disappeared at a time where I needed her most. And I think vice versa, but I can't speak for her, but I will always miss her. Like, I mean, I talk to my mom about it to this day. Like, I really do miss her, but also I don't think that like I'm typically the type of person to reach out and like after a falling out or things like that, but I don't think that I was wrong in that situation, and I don't think that like neither one of us are gonna like reach out, and I'm not typically like a stubborn person.
Wow,
like that,
now if you know that you're not gonna reach out, that's a problem. But that's not my position to say. But I will have to say, as an outside perspective, just love people where they're at. I feel like when you're a person who gives or wants to give so much love to people, and you want to reach out, like we also damage ourselves in the same way, because it's like we want to rekindle a relationship that may be dead, or even if it's not dead, it's like we're trying to save it. We're not here to save people. We're either here to help, support, whatever, but we're not
Reason,
here to...
season, lifetime.
Come on, talk about it! Seriously. But just forgive yourself for a lot that you've either done or you've been through, because not everything is your fault. But you had to know that too.
And I feel like it's crazy because like even when you're in the right or you do right things, not speaking on the same situation, but I'm just saying in general, there are people that will literally try to gaslight you, and there's like groups of people that will literally hate you for doing the right thing, and it's doing the right thing is never always easy, but it is what it is.
Just be the bigger person. Because you never want to act out of character for something. But we are approaching the last question. She's been answering these pretty crazy. So, going to the last question. What area of your life do you feel like you struggle the most?
Can it be like mental health?
Yes. This is what this is for. Yes.
My mental health. Last year I found out that I was diagnosed with ADHD. My psychiatrist said that I had like something depressive disorder, and I mean it makes sense because like there will be times where I will be flourishing, I'll be a social butterfly, and then other times where I will be in my room for months and I won't come out of my bedroom, and it's so bad. And my boyfriend has seen that firsthand because like and we definitely have struggled with that, and I love him so much because he definitely has patience, like such patience. I love him, but like I feel like there are just times where it gets really bad, and the only people that genuinely get me is my family and like the people inside, like Carlos, Siri, my mom, my dad, even you guys like, that's just Star, bro. Like just give her some time and she'll be all right. Or even like, I don't know, like if I need to talk to you, Zion, like even if we haven't talked in like 6 months,
I'll be there.
We be letting a lot of time fly. I'm gonna be real. But even like Kyler, me and Kyler won't talk for like a good month, and then we'll be on the phone for a good 3 hours. Same thing with Khalil, and Khalil's my whole cousin. Like be at the barbecue, like for real. So like I feel like, I don't know, my friends and my close circle, and who I consider to be my close circle, actually genuinely get me, so they know. But like my mental health is something that I definitely struggle with.
And one of the main reasons why I started this is because my mental health isn't bad, but I could do a better job of just having conversation with people, because I feel like I'm a person who kind of attacks easy, which we will get into the next episode with somebody.
That's why we clashed a lot.
Yeah, literally. But I'm a person who attacks easy, and like I never took the time to know a lot of people. So I feel like that's like one of the reasons why. And then obviously another reason is for being an example to family, is to like, we can open up to each other. But as far as like what you have and what you're diagnosed with, I guess in some cases, like when you used to tell me like, you have ADHD, in my mind, because I never believed in it, or I feel like I never had it, I was like, oh, you're just Star being Star. But like a lot of people have those disorders, and that's something that I need to be educated on, because those things are real. I feel like if we put labels on it as people, we're automatically just trying to put ourselves under that, rather than just wanting to work it out. So I think
Yeah.
that's something that I have to separate myself from is like, they do have this, I don't want to call it illness. They do have this disorder, but it's something that they're wanting to, reach out and help with. But
Yeah.
that's just how I look at it.
And it's crazy because up until last year, I genuinely thought something was wrong with me until I went to the doctors. Because I'm like, I can't, like, there are just times, like, I let my doctor know, like, when I say I was in the doctor's office literally sobbing to my doctor, like, I'm like, there's literally something wrong with me. And
But don't always use what they diagnose you with your problem. A lot of it is just healing overall.
yeah.
I mean, like, yes, you could have ADHD. You can have, I don't know any other ones. I'm not really good with that stuff. But that isn't the source of your problem. That's just something that is you. But the source is something that has hurt you, or things that you find yourself doing because of what the source is.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say healing overall is one, and then the illness or disorder is second.
It definitely takes small steps, I've learned through the past year. Like, it's just like getting up and making your bed, things like that. It starts with the smallest steps, and before I used to think that it took like bigger steps. My Adderall helps me though, like throughout the day and stuff, or like my other meds, like they do help me. Like I don't think that they're a crutch, but like it does take healing as well as.
Do you think they help, or do you think they suppress?
No, like my Adderall, it kind of just keeps me focused, but I don't think that it suppresses anything.
And like the reason why I say that is because I feel like medicines are used for moments. So like let's say I hit my knee. Ow, let me get a Benadryl. It's gonna do it for like that day, and the next day it's gonna hurt even worse.
But that's like physical pain.
But okay, so even mental though too. It's like, okay, I have anxiety. I'm gonna take this now, and now I don't have anxiety for a little bit, and then the next day I have the same thing. So it's like that's how I look at medicine when it comes to mental stuff. That it's suppresses it. But you're saying that it helps? Am I understanding?
It does help, yeah.
Okay.
Like, because imagine, like, I mean, have you ever thought about somebody, like, with schizophrenia where they
Right.
actually, like, hear voices and things
Yeah.
like that? Like, it does take them a while to find the right meds to help them, because there are a lot of medications out there in the
Right.
world. But, like, say those voices stop.
Right.
And they're not hearing those voices. Do you still think in that way that it's, like, helping, or if it's, like,
I cannot.
And I'm not comparing. I don't want to get canceled because I'm not comparing ADHD to schizophrenia, but I'm just like.
No, not at all. I mean, I can't honestly answer that question because I don't know much about it. So I'm not going to say yes or no.
Yeah.
I just need to be educated, so I'm going to say. But that was the last question that we have for Star. So I told Star, if you usually watch the episodes, we do a segment where I let the interviewee ask me questions, because I don't want the whole episode to be about that person. So I told Star, because she's a special friend, that she can do 2 questions. So I don't know what they are, so I'm very excited to see what it's about to be. So go ahead, Star.
Okay. What mark do you want to leave on the world that would like precede you?
I don't want to leave a mark on the world. That might sound stupid or cliche. I just like being who I am, and if I impact people, great. If I influence people, great. A mark on the world is not my job. I just want to be who I am around people or with people, to make them better. So like a mark on the world, I really don't have a hooray thing that I'm trying to do. It's just
even like how we were talking like about the like black community and everything.
But that's not a mark in the world to me. That's just
if you were to
helping the
make a
community.
big difference though, like
to not even like low scale. I feel like even today is a big difference, because like there's not a lot of stuff that I knew about you, or the things that you went through that you've opened up about. So to me, this is a successful thing, or however you look at it. But yeah, as far as like a mark in the world, I don't really I don't really care for that stuff. I'm a very humble person at the end of the day. So yeah.
I would say I think you don't give yourself enough credit. Like, you're very good at communicating.
Can we do this after? Let's just get the second question real quick, and then you can give me my flowers and I'll give you yours.
It's crazy because 2 of my questions are just like yours.
Okay.
And I think you've been asked this in one of your other videos, but the best piece of advice you've ever received.
Bro. Okay, so I won't use my mom.
And the best piece of advice you've given.
Okay, so I won't use my mom's, because my mom's is use what you have.
That's nice though.
One advice from my uncles collectively was don't change, and that helps a lot because like those are the people I look up to, and like I've never felt myself wanting to change for people or for media or for anything like that.
Yeah.
But just to hear from my uncles, the people who I admire, it means a lot, and I never want to put myself in a position where I feel like I'm letting media control who I am, what I do, how I do it, because I feel like I'm creative enough to be what I can be.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to put, what you guys think I should do and then do it. That's stupid. I mean, whatever. But yeah, and the best advice I've given, I tell my friends, if you are good at something or you believe that you are passionate about something, put a camera in front of you and just do it and then post it. Just because of how media is growing overall.
Yeah.
I think that if you want to get paid to do something that isn't your job day to day, go out and do it. So that's how I view it. But that's all I got.
Do you have any advice for me for like social media?
Interesting. Star. Yes.
Oh boy.
Post more and post on YouTube Shorts more. Like,
yeah, I do need to do that.
You are a very energetic person. Like, there's a lot of people I watch on TikTok. I'm like, bro, if Star did that, it would be way better. But like, also don't get caught in the idea of like views versus likes versus everything, because obviously like we're not going to see that right now. But you also have a growing channel too.
Yeah.
But just keep posting and keep being who you are, because you are one of the most entertaining people I watch on TikTok. like especially like when you do your when you did that was it the orange pill?
Lemon pill,
bro. I was like, bro, I would have never thought that.
6.6 million views is insane.
Bruh, I was so geeked for you, bro. But it's like stuff like that where I really admire you for who you are, because I'm like, man, like if she just keeps going the rest of the year, you can do it. But yeah, as far as advice, that's it. Just keep being a star. You are a light in people's lives. Maybe you don't see that because of how you feel about yourself, but I think you're a fantastic person. Just keep being who you are.
Thank you. That's so nice. You've never said anything like that to
talk,
me before.
All right. We're not about to get off. Anyways, it has been another episode of Noiz.I Talks with Friends. It is Noiz.I and Star, and we are out.
Bye.
I have to apologize to our interviewee because, again, I don't know who she is. She doesn't know who I am. But I kind of attacked her just because of energy. I feel like energy was being weird. Mostly on me. I'm not going to lie. So I wanna apologize to you.